Hey everybody, Jeff Marr from Elizabeth School District, and joining me is Superintendent Dan Snowberger. Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And this is a regular series that we're going to do called Superintendent Monthly Review. We're going to be doing that throughout the school year as one month ends and another begins. And basically, it allows us to do a look back at the previous month and some of the big events that happened, and then look ahead to what's coming up for the upcoming month. So let's go ahead and start with August. And obviously, the big headline was back to school, 2024-2025 school year, and how that rolled out, how it went. I know you've been going to a lot of the schools lately. So how has it been so far?
You know, the start of school year is always a lot of energy. It's kind of an exciting time. So to see students come back to school, summer's always a kind of a quiet time around here. So to see kids back in school and see staff back in school. We kick off our school year always with a convocation, which is kind of a kickoff pep rally event to get our staff excited about being back. And this year we celebrated a motto that has been on our website for a long time. You might notice our shirts that students are at the heart of everything we do. And this year we really wanted our staff to think about that. We have a pathway pre-K through 12th grade that our students travel. And this year we highlighted that for our staff. We have some amazing stories of students who have gone through our school systems from preschool, kindergarten, all the way up through our school district and have gone on to do some amazing things. Highlighted a couple of students at our convocation, our kickoff event. One student who is in Malaysia, who is making body parts with 3D printing. And that student was educated here in Elizabeth, went on to, I think, CU Boulder, and just thinking about the inspiration, our educators, the education he received here in Elizabeth, and how our educators had a part in really inspiring that student. Obviously, family did too, but the part that Elizabeth had, and really having our educators think about the role they play in that and how students are at the heart of everything they do. So convocation was a great start, and then just being in classrooms the month of August as students came back. It's been an exciting time here in Elizabeth.
The other student who was featured actually tried to break a world record by conquering Colorado's 14ers. Really impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
And that was fun for me to highlight as well.
Yeah, it's important teaching about the academics, but also teaching that perseverance, that life skill that, we face challenging times, but, we've got to persevere. We got to just keep working through it. And it's something we teach our kids each and every day in our classrooms.
So another big event that happened in the month of August was our back to school barbecue and staff appreciation night. And so we had a really good turnout with the barbecue with over 400 that were fed.
Absolutely. 400 community members came, students included, and that we welcomed our American Legion Post 82 who cooked for us this year, cooked hot dogs, hamburgers, and brats, and invited our community out to celebrate the start of school. And following that, we had our first football game here in Elizabeth, Friday Night Lights here in Elizabeth, and then celebrated our staff that night at halftime. So our staff members who were able to come that evening at halftime went out on the field, and really appreciated our community members who came and celebrated our staff. We need to really recognize that teachers here in Elizabeth aren't here for the money. We pay less than our neighboring districts, and yet these teachers work here in Elizabeth because they are so dedicated to our children here in Elizabeth. And I hope, certainly our community understands that these teachers are dedicated to our kids, dedicated to our community, and really are committed to being here in Elizabeth.
And the theme that followed that football game the following week was honoring our veterans.
Exactly. We had 35 veterans who at halftime came down to the field, and we celebrated them. And again, the week prior, we had our American Legion cooking for our community, and the following week, we celebrated those veterans on our field for their service here to our great nation. So, we have a couple of football games coming up. We're going to celebrate our youth sports here in our community, our Wranglers, our young Cardinals, Palms, our cheerleaders. We'll celebrate our other Little League teams here in our communities. And then we have our first responders that we're going to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate also coming up. So our high school, we're really proud of them for having each of their football teams having a segment of our community that they're celebrating.
So another big event that happened and actually is ongoing is the EHS auto building fundraiser. And so we had our big first fundraising event for that. It was hugely successful
Absolutely.
for being a first fundraiser,
Yep.
raising at least $100,000 in pledges.
Yep.
And that leaves us with $200,000 to go to finish this project. But that was a great event as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We had secured a federal grant to help us kickstart that building project. So, Elizabeth is really focused on career and technical education. We know we want all of our kids when they graduate here in Elizabeth to be able to go to college, but we have more and more students choosing not to. And college is
Mm-hmm.
not the only pathway for a student to leave here and be successful. Many of our trades jobs are paying six-figure salaries today, and so we want our kids to be able to choose their pathway when they leave Elizabeth. And Auto Shop right now, 1 in 5 students right now are signing up to be in our Auto Shop program. Now, as we add other trades, we're looking at construction trades in the future. We have nursing programs, we have business programs, we have culinary. We have fashion and design. We have lots of career and technical ed programs,
Mm-hmm.
but Auto Shop is something that's been a real hit in this community, and building that auto shop building has been a huge important addition to our career and technical ed program. And so that fundraiser kickoff on the 27th to raise 100,000 in pledges in one evening was just
Mm-hmm.
a major accomplishment. We thank our community who came out, but as you said, that's a third of the way there. So
Right.
community members, please know that we're still in need. So we're looking for contractors. We're looking for people who still are willing to help contribute. We need contractors to help us. We need HVAC. We need electrical. We need plumbers. We need folks who are willing to come and help us out in finishing that project. The federal grant was great in getting that program started, but we're not completed yet in that building. It looks great sitting on that property, but
Yeah.
it's not ready to be occupied just yet.
So we're going to come up with some creative ideas to continue to fundraise. And don't be surprised when you're going out and about to a lot of the shops in Elizabeth if you see collection jars actually on the countertop with a flyer attached to it, because I'm hearing that those are already in circulation. And that's another way for cash donations to come in. We're going to continue showing that QR code as well, where you can donate through My
Absolutely.
School Bucks. Another topic we wanted to talk to you about, this is again for August and the start of the school year, was that we had a brand new fleet of school buses rolled out to kick off the start of the new school year. It was just in time and something really needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. We travel thousands of miles a month here in Elizabeth, picking up children to get to school. And, transportation is not required in Colorado. Believe it or not, Colorado law does not require school buses or districts to provide transportation. There are
Yeah.
many districts in Colorado that have said, we're not transporting kids. Parents, get your kids to school. And our board and certainly our administration has said, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to continue to provide transportation for children who live in excess of a couple of miles from school. And we're proud of that. But our buses take a huge beating on some of our backcountry roads, our dirt roads. And so we have buses that are in excess of 15 to 20 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had some buses on order from April of 2023, and they were not expected to arrive until February of next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the summer, our new director of transportation, Tierra No, actually was able to find a local company that actually had some buses in stock and on premises. We were able to work out some bus leasing options. And we're able to actually, instead of the 4 we were expecting in February, actually to secure 10 buses this summer. And so those 10 buses are actually on the road. So we have some bright, new, shiny, safe buses for our kids to ride. We're also proud that we were able to, as of this past Monday, start transporting for our Legacy Academy students. So again, transportation is an option available to our families. We know some families prefer to drive their children, and that certainly is a parental choice. But for families who really need that service, we're proud to offer. And now that we have 10 additional buses on the road, we really feel like it's a safe option for our families.
And speaking of school, we also want to talk about back to school events and open house events. I know that you were over at Singing
Yep.
Hills checking that out. So how did
Absolutely.
that go?
Oh, our back to school nights are exciting nights for where parents can come in. We know parents had a chance to meet teachers prior to school starting, but to come in after kids have had a few weeks under their belt and
Mm-hmm.
get to see their classrooms and kind of see the routines that have started. So, we have another back to school event coming up at Running Creek, but Singing Hills has had theirs. Elizabeth Middle School has had theirs a couple of weeks ago. So again, parents, thank you for coming to those. Running Creeks is coming up on September 11th. Great events. And again, thank you, parents, for coming and seeing those. And there are other great events coming up at our schools. So do watch your school websites and watch your school newsletters for those opportunities to come and get involved. It means a lot to your kids. And know that we want you to come and be a part of those school events.
Absolutely. And the last topic I wanted to hit for August has to do with our safety and security team because they actually went through training prior to the start of the school year because the goal was to make sure that we had an armed presence at each school site in Elizabeth, and that has been achieved.
Absolutely. The school district has really been committed to ensuring we have highly trained, highly qualified individuals on our campuses, securing our campuses. So we do. Last year, we had some of our campuses with armed security staff. These are not individuals who went through a day of training. Almost all of these individuals are former police officers who have extensive trainings, firearms training, extensive experience on the road dealing with individuals, dealing with firearms. Even though these individuals have that experience, we still feel like ongoing training is necessary. And so all of our team, in conjunction with local law enforcement, went through a week-long intensive training together, because it's one thing to train by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to train as a team. And so our local law enforcement with our armed security staff in our schools trained together for a week on intensive training tactics to make sure that, heaven forbid, we ever had a threat in our schools, that our team was trained to respond together.
Mm-hmm.
And so over just prior to school starting, our team went through that training together. And we're really proud of that team. That team is deployed in our schools. We do have an armed presence on our campus. And again, our goal is never to have to use those individuals, that those individuals will never have to react and certainly use those tools of the trade. But we know they're there, and we know that they're ready to take care of our children and take care of our staff should there ever be a threat in our campuses. And again, parents know that we do practice, we do a drill in our schools, and that's not to create fear, but to create comfort, to create that safety environment, that our kids know that we're prepared, that they know how to react in case of a threat, in case of a dangerous situation. And that's so important. So, our director of school security is a former Secret Service agent, protected, our leaders of our nation in the past, and certainly takes his job very seriously. And all of our school security officers are former police officers who have taken their jobs very seriously, and now take their job of protecting our children very seriously here on our campuses.
And unfortunately, as a nation, we continue to be reminded about the importance of that. We just had an incident, and incidents continue across the nation at various schools, a reminder of the need for increased security presence.
And let me just say, most important thing is, parents, and to remind your students, is if you see something out of place, if your students hear something, report it. It's never a time to keep something like that to yourself. Report it. I'd rather check out 20 false complaints than to have something not be reported because you think maybe it's not important. I'd rather check it out and make sure there's not a concern than to have something go unreported and, heaven forbid, it be something that really should have been investigated. So
absolutely,
we're all a part of a team to keep our school safe.
Yes. And so now we'd like to look ahead to September. And we are in September, but We do have plenty of exciting events to come, and it's going to be a very busy month for us, just like we saw with August. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is September 18th is a superintendent forum. So for those who aren't familiar with the forum, that's kind of where you meet with anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here in our boardroom here at 634 South Albert Street, where our board normally meets, I will be here from 6 to 7:30. And it's not that I have something to present. I don't have a dog and pony show. I'm going to be here to talk with you, parents and members of our community, to answer questions, to talk about topics that are on your mind. And so I try to do these often. And I'll be honest with you, more often than not, it's me and a parent or two. So I want to encourage you, if you have a thought, a concern, an idea, something you want to flesh out, something you just want to, talk through, please come. It's an opportunity for us to just dialogue, get to know each other. And it's okay to bring something that's really on your mind, that's really concerning to you, because if it's concerning you, it's concerning someone else. So again, it's a time for us to just have some dialogue, for us to talk through any issue or any concern, any idea that you might have, an idea that maybe will make our district even stronger. This is your district. This isn't my district. It's your district. And so please know that those forums, again, September 18th, starting at 6 o'clock here in our boardroom, I'm going to be here, and I would love for you to join me and again, bring topics. If you don't have a topic, I'm going to throw out some things that are going on and certainly, hopefully, spark some conversation. But I would welcome you to join me, and certainly, hopefully, we can have some great dialogue about what's going on in the district, what's going on in public education in general, and hopefully together we're going to be able to talk through and help our district become an even better district.
And speaking of dialogue, we also have our first board coffee. That's going to be September 24th at Singing Hills, 3:30 p.m. in the library. And this is one of a few different sessions that will happen this school year.
Correct. Yeah, and our board is doing those at schools this year, so they're doing them right after dismissal time. So hopefully, making it even more convenient. They did it at coffee shops last year, and they had a handful of parents come. They thought this year, let's try doing it at dismissal time. So parents who want to, pick up their kids, maybe park their car, come on back into schools. So the first one, September 24th at Singing Hills Elementary School. In the library, so Singing Hills parents, but even if you're a parent at one of the other schools, you're welcome to come to Singing Hills Elementary, come into the library, we'll have coffee for you. And all of not all of our board members, a large number of board members will be present to dialogue with you, again, chat, answer questions that you have. Our board members are available to talk with you, to answer questions, to dialogue with you, hear your ideas, hear your suggestions, hear your concerns. I know sometimes people think I'll come to a board meeting, and board meetings are normally formal business meetings. These coffees are a chance to really dialogue, to pick their brain, to have two-way conversations. And so we really want to encourage our community, come to these coffees, have that dialogue, talk, exchange ideas. It's a great time to really engage our board members in those conversations.
A couple of other events I wanted to talk to you about: the District Advisory Council and Finance Advisory Council's kickoff happening also in September.
Yeah, so we have board committees, and those two committees, our Finance Advisory Council and District Advisory Councils, kick off their meetings in September. Yeah. So we have a number of board committees. Those two committees kick off their meetings. Finance Advisory Council are members of our community who have financial expertise. They work with us all summer, monitoring our budget, look at our spending patterns, give us feedback. Their meetings are posted on the district website under the board link. So if you go to our district website, look at the board link, you'll see those committee dates that are posted. And then our District Advisory Council meetings are also posted on the district website as well. And those committees kick off all in September. So great opportunities as well. They're all open to the public. You're always welcome to come and participate and observe in those meetings. Those members are appointed by the board, but again, their meetings are always open to the public.
All right. Dan, thank you for talking to us
Thank
about all
you.
that.
Yep. Look
And
forward to next month.
yes, and we look forward to what's ahead for September. I can't believe how fast it's going by. The weather's already changing.
Absolutely.
We're
A
seeing
little
that
chill in
outside.
the air.
Yes. So we'll have another update for you about a month from now as we wrap up September and then look ahead to October. But in the meantime, be sure to follow us right here at Elizabeth School District on all of our social channels. And of course, we welcome your feedback as well anytime. Thanks.